Hello, goddesses. It's Mariel. Welcome to day 8 manifestation challenge back on today. I'm so excited to be here with you all. I am feeling better. I had an amazing holiday. I hope you did too. And then I got a little sick and everyone got sick but we're all back in business. So I am so excited to be back here and excited to see what this new year is going to bring us. So I wanted to come in here and see who's going to join live, and also give you what's up for the rest of the week. Okay, so before I talk about day 8, let's talk about what's going to happen. So this was supposed to be a 12-day challenge, and I'm giving you something different to. Hi, Jennifer. Happy New Year. I want to give you these action items, the action steps to take so that you can really step into your goal, so that you can manifest more, so that you can manifest faster. Now, I can talk about manifestation a lot, and what I tried to do is I'm trying to just take out certain activities that I do in my practice in my own life and that I teach my clients, so that you can do things as well. Because one thing is learning about manifestation and understanding it, and another thing is to actually get into action, right? So for the rest of the week, I'm going to come in here and go through every single day on what you can be doing right now to reach your goals, to do it in a way that feels good, and to really ultimately get into alignment. Because once we get into alignment oh, sorry, that someone was coming in. Once we get into alignment, that's when we really start manifesting. And the word manifesting is it's just a fancy word for being in alignment, and being in that level of alignment ultimately gets you to attract everything that you are that you are. So it's not really so much about what you are doing all the time, but who you are being. Okay, does that make sense? So, if you're joining me live, say hello. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you for being here. And let me know, what is your goal this year? Like, what is it that that's trying to be birthed, through you? I was just talking about this inside my mastermind, that for the past 2 weeks, I've really gone into my cocoon, and I just kept feeling these energies trying to be this newness trying to be birthed through me, and it was uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. And but I think that really happens when you start becoming super aware of certain things, and you start becoming super aware of how you feel constantly. And so, to be quite honest with you, some of the new things that are trying to be birthed through me, it really scares the living shit out of me. And I was just talking about how, for the first time, I really understand what it means to be scared by your goals. I think I've always understood the idea of that. Um, but now I think I'm actually living it. So it's really exciting and scary at the same time. So, what is it that you're trying to accomplish, or what is it that you're trying to become? Which is an even more important question, because everything, and this is the biggest secret, okay? And I know I'm preaching to the choir here because you've heard this before, but I'm always one that needs to be reminded, and I think we all need to be reminded of this. It's who you are to yourself. It's your level of your identity. That's who you attract. That's what you attract. That's how you attract, right? So until you become totally conscious, and you embrace that next identity that you want to step into, manifesting the things that you want up here becomes really hard. But once you become so crystal clear about what you want in here, from this level of being, that's half the issue here, right? Becoming that crystal clear, but then also learning how to step into that new identity. So important. And that's what we call embodiment, right? So Let me know if this is making sense to you. You know, it's all about your identity. It's who you are to yourself. It's who you are in this specific area of life. It's who you are as a CEO of your business. You know, it's who you are as the breadwinner. It's who you are in terms of how much money you're used to making. If you're if in your identity you are someone who makes $75,000 a year, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. If you are someone who makes $75,000 a year, and that's your identity, and that identity is married to a whole bunch of stories, right? And this is why you are needed in the world, because it's not that simple, although it is. But in order to step into that new identity, we have to know how to do that. And you know how to do that for your clients, but sometimes it's easy to miss it for ourselves and to understand what that really freaking means, right? So if in your identity you are married to all of these stories of making, you know, that help you make $75,000, for example, let's just say you're used to making $75,000 to $100,000. And that's what you're used to doing. And that's a story. I'm used to doing that. I know how to do that. If I do that, I'm comfortable. If I break outside of that, what's going to happen to my family life? What if I fail? What if I try something, get in debt, and it doesn't work? What if, see, so those are the other stories that are cramping your new vision of possibly making, maybe your money goal is to make $150,000, right? But if you are still married to those old stories that are attached to the $75,000 earning version of yourself, then it's almost like driving this vehicle with flat tires. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it, because you're not fully mobile. Okay. So I hope this is making sense. So Sheila says, I call it be here now. Be her inside before you become her on the outside. Yes. Oh, I love that. That's great. Yes, you have to learn how to be that on the inside before it happens on the outside. So what I wanted to talk to you all today, and this is really since I've been inside my cocoon, this is what I've been doing, because my goal really scares me. Because up until now, I've always been really excited about reaching my goals. I am very serious when it comes to my goals. It's not something that I get excited about and then it loses momentum. That's never how I do it. So I've always been really excited, but this year my goal really kind of scares me, because I am starting to see those stories that are attached to my comfort zone, because I am comfortable. I'm really comfortable where I am. And so I can just do that. But I want to grow, and growth takes you out of your comfort zone, right? So, anyway, one of the things that I have been doing is so simple, but it's so powerful, because I know this is what moves the needle forward with my identity. Okay. And it's just the power of imagination and the power of visualization. Okay. So once you understand what your goal is and you have crystal clarity that actually comes from right here. Okay. It, your goal needs to really be attached to your why, and your why really needs to come from your heart center, and it needs to be something that's fucking emotional, and it's going to change you and bring you to this next level. So it's deep, in my opinion. So once I get clear of what's going on in here in this area, then the action items come from there. But I also understand that this identity, there's this new identity that needs to be born. And so once I have total clarity about that, and what I've really been practicing in the past 2 weeks is using the power of your imagination. So what makes us different from the rest of creation is this one thing, and it's our power to use our imagination and our visualization powers, right? So most of the world thinks that that only what we see right here with our eyes in the 3D is true. I happen to I disagree with that. I think that anything that you see and hear is as true as what you see out here. Okay. In fact, for the past, I don't know, I think it's probably like 10 years now, I've been using this process. It was taught by, and let me know if you understand what this process is or if you've ever used it. Uh, Young used to call it active imagination. So, which is a little different. Okay. But that's how I learned how to activate my imagination and those visualization powers. And as I continue in my own progress, I keep going back to it. And one day I can show you guys deeply how to do this if you don't know how to do it yet. But it's basically you learning how to use the power of visualization and your imagination. Okay. And one of the things in active imagination technique is that you have to get really crystal clear about the nuances and the and then just like the details that you are seeing. Okay. So when I had my operation, and I just want to tell you how I've used it, and it worked like magic, because it is magic. This is the gift that we all have. Truly, this is the gift. When I was leading up to my surgery that I had to remove a brain tumor in behind my ear, between my ear and my brain, it was called a meningioma. Um, I had 6 months. I convinced the doctor to give me a full 6 months to lead up to it. And so I literally sat myself down and said, how am I going to not lose the little hearing that I have left on my left ear? And I said, screw that. I don't want to just not lose it. I want to regain it. And so I designed for myself an entire manifestation process. And these were things that I was going to stick to every day, come hell or high water. And one of those things was I called it a mini vacation for myself, because you can imagine what it's like going through leading up to 6 months to when you know that in 6 months you're going to have brain surgery. Like it, it was full of anxiety, right? But I know, and here's where knowledge comes in. I know in my head that being in anxiety is a low vibe. And because I understood that, I did things to get me out of that. And one of those things was my mini vacation. So I took all the folders and stuff that they had sent me from the hospital, um, to letting me know, like, this is what's going to happen. You know, when you come into the hospital, you're going to first go here, and then you're going to go there, then you're going to sit in this room. So luckily they sent me all of that before I got there. So I was able to see what the post operating room looked like. Okay. I was like, oh, I'm going to be laying there. Okay. So now my mind had a point of reference. And what I did was I imagined me being outside of the operating room, you know, after the operation. And I imagined me laying in the bed, and my doctor coming to me and letting me know that the operation had been a huge success, and I could hear everything he was telling me out of my ear. So I focused on actually hearing in that ear. Okay. So I want you to pay attention to that, because it's when you are, and this is why I love active imagination, when you are using the power of your imagination, but then also incorporating your senses into it. You know, in my case, I could hear what the doctor was saying. And then I would focus on him, and I would focus on what he was wearing and how I felt inside of, you know, how I felt laying down there. So that's how it becomes super powerful, because now as you're using your senses, you're also using the power of your emotions. So, and I remember feeling so excited because I could just hear him out of this ear that where I had almost lost my entire hearing. And what happened during my after my operation in real life, it happened exactly the way I had imagined it. I remember waking up in that post-operating room, and my doctor came. Actually, it wasn't my doctor, it was actually a nurse. And she came, but she literally went and stepped next to me on my left side and said, Marielle, everything's over. Everything was successful. And I could hear her. And at that moment, I started crying. I was weeping, and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, oh my God, I can hear. But this is exactly how I had imagined it. Now, every day, I committed to doing this for a full 6 months. Every day, I escaped to my mini vacation twice a day. And anytime, sometimes more, because every time I committed to myself that every time I got afraid or I became fearful, because you know what? During that leading up to that time, I remember me talking about it with other people and them giving me their opinion and their pity and their vibes, and then it would freak me out as well. So that's what I did. Like once I saw that, I was starting to feel a little anxious, I would literally retreat. I would close my eyes and go back to that scenario that I had imagined, and I would relive it over and over and over. And the anxiety was so high at that time that sometimes that it really just felt like an escape. So instead of me doing it because, it's part of this formula, it was more like I'd rather feel this way and imagine this than go this way. So let me know if that's making sense, because it's really, really powerful. When your mind, your subconscious doesn't, distinguish rather with what is real or what is not real. To your subconscious, everything is real. So, but whatever your mind can see, whatever your mind's eye can see, it's already a reality to it. So it does everything it can to fulfill it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So use the power of your imagination. Create your activity today is to create your mini vacation. Okay, what is that mini vacation? And then a tip about active imagination: allow things to come to you and allow yourself. You can do it two ways, and I'm not going to make it too complicated. Oh, thank you, Sheila. And I didn't know all the detail. Thanks for sharing it. It's my pleasure. There's so much about my story that I haven't shared because for a long time, and this is probably one of the things that I've gotten really clear about. So much of my story is of the bigger story is kind of unreal, and it's taken a lot of healing to get to the point where I can talk about all the details. But during the past, 2 weeks, I've really gotten clear about, where I'm at with that and how I feel about sharing it. And I will be sharing a lot more stuff with you all. But what I was saying about active imagination is it's really, really important to, as a part of active imagination, to experience yourself being it. Okay. So when I was imagining this mini vacation, at first I had to imagine it as if I was watching it on a TV screen, okay, on a movie screen. And then once I practiced it more and more and more, I was able to actually become it. So just know that if you do this once, and that's not enough, that's totally normal. It may not be enough to do it just once. So it's important that you give yourself time and that you allow yourself to let the power of repetition give you even more energy, more power. Okay. So I hope that all made sense. So your action today is to go and create your very own mini vacation and enjoy it and commit to that. Come back to it once or twice a day, in the morning, right before you go to sleep. and go back to it and live it anytime you feel like, oh, I'm making this up. Oh, I'm never going to be able to do that. But my dream is so big. How is it going to happen? You know, those hows sometimes act like an axe, and they keep you from even getting started. So every time you feel anything like that, just go back and experience your mini vacation, and let me know how that works out for you and if this all made sense. So with that said, I will see you all tomorrow. And by the way, happy new year, everyone. I am so excited for every single person in here. This is going to be a huge year. I could just feel it. It's just like I just feel it everywhere. And I'm excited to be here. And also, let me know if there are any specific topics that you would really want me to cover. Every single month, I like doing free workshops. So, you know, if there's something that you really want to learn, you want me to talk more about, you know, let me know so that I can incorporate it. You know that in my workshops, I love just giving value and helping you out as much as possible. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day, guys. Peace out.